Come on.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Controversy Lab.
Where controversy is key.
I'm your host, Lakel House.
I am RTJ.
Why you yelling at the people, man?
Because you stole my line.
It was an accident, bro. I mean, I've been drinking
3 times in a row.
I've been drinking, and look at this. This motherfucker gave me a straw. Look at this shit. Look.
Hey, look, we are different. You gotta do your pinky. Yeah, your pinky. Do your pinky. Do your pinky.
Who the hell
Do your
put?
pinky.
Look at this long ass straw in this motherfucking beverage. My people, bro. My homeboys, man. Look,
All right, so what we doing today, man?
I'm gonna secretly take my straw out.
What we
That
doing?
just feels
You
weird.
ain't taking shit out, nigga.
Yeah. So, what episode are we doing today, bro?
So last week,
Yeah.
a podcast that I watched, I Am Athlete. Dwayane Wade was on there, right?
Oh, so we talking about that one?
Yeah. He,
Okay, let's get it.
There's one particular post. There's one particular part of the podcast that's actually going out. That's like people. It's like really. I guess the word is viral.
Yeah.
Where he was talking about how he had to come to grips with him being a man. That part I don't even understand me saying it. Him being a man and you know, I guess coming to grips with his son being gay
Right.
at 3 years old.
I haven't seen the video. I haven't seen any of the clips. Some people did send me the clip. Well, let me say I haven't seen the full interview. Let me say that I haven't seen the full podcast. Somebody sent me a clip last night, like 2 a.m. Sent me the clip, and I was up, so I watched the clip. So I'm not that knowledgeable about the whole podcast, but I did see where you were talking about. He was saying that he came to terms with his son being gay at 3. And my only question I would have is, why would you be looking at your 3-year-old son and even thinking anything about him being gay?
So again, this is my thing. To me,
I've always felt like he was gay though.
Dwayane Wade.
Yeah, I've always felt like he's bisexual.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go there. To me, that falls up under. I don't want not child pornography, but pedophilia and child abuse because
Why do you say child abuse?
Because at 3 your child doesn't know sexuality. You're teaching your child something. You're mentally putting something in your child's head, and your child does not know what that is. Now, and people say when racism is taught to a child, it's child abuse.
Right.
However, this is basically kind of like the same thing. It's just the fact that in the black community, they're pushing the gay lifestyle so much that we're going to overlook pushing a sexuality into a child's mind at a very young age. We're just not going to label that this way. To me, it's child abuse.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the data or the information to know like what that child's upbringing was like, and none of us do, unfortunately. So in a sense, it's like I can't say whether he perpetuated that or he kind of pushed that onto his child. What I will say though is I feel like what kind of bothers me about seeing that interview was like you're literally looking at a 3-year-old baby and wondering, would this 3-year-old baby take a penis in their ass, like, or would this baby be sucking someone's penis? Like, and here's the thing: people would look at me crazy for saying that. Someone would say, "Well, why would you? How dare you say something? Something's wrong with you. You fucked up for saying that." But no, listen to what I just said. Listen to what I just said. How could you look at a baby? Look at this baby and then question or wonder or have an idea or think about a baby's sexuality.
And that's where
we're ignoring the dark side of that statement.
That's why I say it's a problem that people are overlooking. That's something that we're overlooking. That needs to be addressed before we're trying to address the child's sexuality.
Yes.
You have to address the fact.
This is what I'm saying. Prime example, when my daughter was a baby, her mom would be like, yo, when you change her diaper, you don't do a good job when you change her diaper when she has a bowel movement. And I looked at her.
They talk too.
I looked at her, I said, listen, that's my daughter. I do not feel comfortable sticking my finger anywhere near there to properly change her. I don't feel comfortable with that. I said, so I'll tell you what, I'll change her when she, urinates. But I'm not going to change her when she has a bowel movement because I don't feel comfortable doing that. So this is my whole point. My daughter, as an infant, 2 years old, like 3 years old, like that was never even a question in my mind to even look at my child and think that. What type of psychological? And I guarantee you, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but in my heart, I feel like Dwayane Wade was maybe sexually assaulted when he was a kid.
I don't think he's sexually assaulted. I think that what I think is that he was very vulnerable. He was very vulnerable, and then he was pushed into a lifestyle. So, like, and Gabrielle Union helped that lifestyle.
Here's why I say that. When you go look up the clinical research, from leading individuals that have dedicated their life to studying psychosis, studying human behavior, studying whether they're psychiatrists or whatever. When you look at people who have degrees in clinical study and they focus on the human mind, study of the brain, right? Psychoanalyzing people.
Okay.
A lot of the leading people in this industry tell you that a lot of times when you have hypersexuality comes from trauma and abuse, sexual trauma, sexual abuse. For example, most women who have been raped, they're either going to be hypersexual or they're going to move away from
be real cautious
from intimacy as a whole. They're going to have a problem with baseline or normal sexuality. Same thing with children. When you have children who are sexually assaulted, they have hypersexuality or they digress and move far away from the normality base of sexuality, or they lean to being gay. There's confusion on that line. Prime example, when you look at R. Kelly. When you look at R. Kelly and the fact that what he's done to all these girls, he was exposed to sexual traumatic experiences in his adolescence. So what I'm saying is, people would say, well, Dwayane Wade doesn't really exude any of those behaviors. When I look at Dwayane Wade, I feel like I see mannerisms that directly correlate with a feminine baseline.
Okay, so so I don't disagree with you on anything I don't disagree with anything you just stated. My thing is the whole I don't know, and just from what I do know, that's where I'm coming from. Like I do know that his first wife, they were on the same level.
What do you mean?
His first wife, she's a very religious woman. He was a very religious, I was about to say woman, but person. So, right. So, and his mother is very religious. She has a church. So now and that's where I think that him jumping into that lifestyle, he's jumping into a lifestyle and being afforded to see things that he's never seen before. And you can go to the wrong party, get caught up in the wrong things. And now, because you like this stuff, you're now being a person that you think that you're now being a person that is making you comfortable, making you feel good. Not saying that you didn't get raped, or not saying that you, get molested as a child, or not saying that you did one way or the other. I'm not disputing that fact. It's just that one thing that I do know, the two prominent women in your life you have now detached yourself from to be with a woman who is putting you in a lifestyle that you were not accustomed to growing up.
So what you're alluding to is you're saying that you feel like Gabrielle Union is the reason why he's being more openly vocal about his son's or Zaya's sexuality. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because also the child also saying that when this was said, when everybody started putting me out there, I didn't feel comfortable with everybody putting me out there. And she was was it her? I believe it was her though, was the first to say that the child didn't was gay.
Right.
I'm trying my hardest to keep from saying he and the boy, because I know that's like a real touchy
we know it will rub a lot of people the wrong way.
Yes.
And if that's what, unfortunately, it's Controversy Lab, so I'm going to have to refer to him as a boy because he is a boy, regardless of what he feels like, he's a boy. So, and I apologize for anyone that feels uncomfortable about me saying that, but I have to stay true to what feels natural for me to say. And it's not to be disrespectful in any way, because I respect any and everyone that chooses to date or be with whomever they want. You know what I'm saying? Like you can never meet someone who is homosexual that will tell you I treated them any differently than I would treat anybody else, right? So, but at the same time, I'm just saying that it feels natural to me to call him a boy because he's a boy.
And my thing is, I'm with you on that. Like, if I respect you for decisions that you make, please respect me for the decisions I make. like, if I have been taught to see a person as a boy and as a girl, that's how I've been taught to see.
Right.
And you then make I can't really say make a decision, but then you go on and develop some other way. Like you said, I still respect you as for you having a lifestyle, right. But do understand that you have to give me the same respect.
Right. I mean, it's mutual respect given. But so my whole thing
Did you really just take a straw out of it?
I really took a straw out. Right? It feels weird, bro. Just like I can't give it that. He like drinking out of straws. Some people like drinking out of straws. I don't like drinking out of straws.
Wait, I can't drink out of straw while we talking about gay shit. While we talking about gay shit.
Right. So getting back on subject and really driving home these points. My point is this: like, whilst we can applaud Dwayane Wade for having his perspectives, and I agree with him. Like the part where he was saying that, what do I do as a father when my child comes out and tells me this at this age and says that, Daddy, I'm different, and that child just wants acceptance from their parent. Like let me finish. So the child wants acceptance from their parent. So I totally 100% understand and I agree with Dwayane Wade's perspective. Look at your face. I totally agree.
That's stupid.
What's stupid?
Like, that is stupid. As a parent, if your child comes out as gay, and you know where I'm speaking from.
I don't know where you're speaking from, but
my child is gay.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry. But that's the difference. So disclaimer for people that may try to come on this show, Rodney. For people trying to come on this show, RTJ actually is living that. So for you to come on here and be like, oh, how did it? No, the co-host is living that. So it's not coming from a place where they think they know everything. They don't know. No, we do know.
Yes, so
we do know.
The reason I say nothing is because that's regardless of whatever your child decides, that's still your child.
Exactly.
So that's why I say nothing. Love your child. That is your child. You produced this person. Love that person, just like whether they were heterosexual or whatever. Love that person. That's it. So it ain't I gotta look in the mirror. It's not
Yeah. Why are you looking in the mirror, bro?
It's still your child, regardless.
Are you looking in the mirror because you felt like you might have influenced this in a way? Like, why are you looking in the mirror? So here's my thing, right? So I understand and I feel him when he says, "What am I supposed to do when my child comes to me and says this?" And I'm worried about my child probably hurting themselves, killing themselves because they don't feel accepted. So I understand that perspective. Now, but let me dig into the meat of it from my controversial perspective. I personally, right, would ask myself, what happened along my child's development that made my child potentially take this interest, right? It could be it was just natural, could be. But it also could be that when I drop my child off to someone, was my child sexually assaulted? This is my first frame of mind, right? Why? Because if you look at the numbers, it is very, very, very common for sexual trauma, sexual assault to happen at the hands of either the parents, someone in the family, or someone your parent has introduced into that family dynamic. So my first response would be, okay, let me look and analyze, has my child been in this type of situation? Now I'm having that conversation with my child.
On that point, I still disagree with you.
You can disagree, but that's just my what?
Because I'm living it.
Right, but again, you can disagree. That's perfectly fine. Which is why when I first started talking, I said my perspectives, my individual perspectives would be, I would have that conversation with my child to make sure and ask my child, has anything happened? Have you been touched? And if my child just tells me, no, I've just always felt like this is who I am, I'm going to love my child. But what I would tell my child is, listen, you're young, and there may be a situation where it could be a phase. We don't know. Like, it may be something that you're really interested in, or it may be something that you just want to try out. Who knows? Before we walk around and give you this label, continue to live and be a child and focus on that. I'm not finna go turn around, and I'm not finna be publicizing the fact that my child is gay on TV, right? Exactly. I'm not gonna do that to my child, because I know plenty of people, right, that have they experience that at a younger age, and as they grow up and evolve, they realize, like, you know what, I like that, but that is not primarily like my main focus. It's a part of my life, but it's not. It's like the garnish, but it's not my main entree. Like, I enjoy it from time to time. So I'm just saying, like, I feel like them putting their child out on the forefront in the media. Holy shit, this camera stopped. But I feel like them putting their child out in the media and parading their child around and, you know, having Michelle Obama talk to their child. And I get it. You're a celebrity and you feel like you're a public figure, and you, I guess, feel like it's important for the world to know that your minor child is homosexual.
Check this out. I think this is probably something that people won't even look at. So you come out as the parent and say, "Hey, my child is gay," right?
Right.
Now, what if that child is like, "Nah, Dad, I'm not really gay," but in the child's head, like, "Nah, I'm not really gay, but I have to make my dad proud. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to continue to live the way that he wants me to live." Not exactly saying that the child is actually gay, like, because I mean, shit, you're 8. What the fuck do you know?
Yeah.
So
you
now
you don't know shit at 8 years old.
So now the child is living a lifestyle because the parent wants that child to live the lifestyle. You got the child saying, "I didn't like the fact that my dad came out and told people. I didn't like the fact that my stepmom came out and told people. So now I got to live a life. I didn't like being in that parade."
Right. So and that's another question too. Is like how much can we leverage on the fact that Dwayane Wade's, you know, offspring, child, son, is truly living out this portion of his life, and that's what he really is true to. It could have been a phase. You didn't give him the opportunity to go through the phase. Because as a child at 8 years old, you can't, I could be wrong, but at 8 years old, you do not know enough to make that distinction to say, this is what I am unequivocally. This is what I am, like, straight up. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, I don't feel like at 8 years old, you can make that distinction. Now, if my 8-year-old child came to me and said, "Hey, Dad, you know, I feel like I'm homosexual. I feel like I'm gay," I'm still going to love my child. I'm going to embrace my child and tell my child, "I love you regardless of what you choose."
Yes.
Regardless, I will never stop loving you. As a matter of fact, I love you more because I know you need more of that love, because I know people will judge you. But at the end of the day, always know, regardless of what you choose, I'm going to love you. But I would also tell my child, but also, let's just keep that as something for right now until you can make the distinction that that's what you really want to do. Like, keep living life. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't feel like right now that's something that you want, you're 8. Like, you've only been on the planet for 8 years.
You don't know nothing. You're still learning, and that's
learning.
And that's another thing. It's like, dude, you're still learning. So you have to explore.
Explore, yes.
So you got to figure out what you like, what you don't like, and honestly, like,
have you had quinoa yet? You know what I'm saying?
Sexuality should not be the forefront of an 8-year-old's mind.
Exactly, and that's my concern. Like,
and if it is, then I can't look at the 8-year-old. I got to look at the parent.
You got to look at the parent. Like, why is this child even exposed or even aware of, like, sexuality? Now, I've dated some women where they were like, a girl, she was like, I knew I was gay in the 2nd grade. I was like, "What do you mean?" She was like, "Oh, you know, because a girl pulled her skirt up and it did something to me at 2 years old." And I'm like,
it's supposed to, like, make you feel, I'm not in a good way, but it's supposed, like, you've seen something. You see something new.
Exactly.
So it's supposed to do something to you.
It's supposed to do something to you. Like, what the hell is that? Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
You know. But again, this is a girl that I was, you know, entertaining the idea of a relationship with, and even though we were in the process of dating per se, we never really committed to a relationship. But the whole thing is, she was still more invested in pursuing a relationship with a man. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. The whole point is, give your child the opportunity to make the distinction. Even though she was bi-curious, even though she classified herself as bisexual, that's fine. If that's what you're into, cool. But give your child enough time to make the distinction in what my position is. And not to say, this is what my child is. Hey, world, look at my child who we're going to call a girl. I just think, for me, I look at the mentality and the mental stability of the parent. Like, Dwayane Wade, what are you doing? Like, I would never publicize
I can't fucking stand
my child's sexuality. Like, that's, to me, it's like, we have pedophiles in the world.
And you're putting your child on commercial.
And you're putting your child out there, like, parading your child in front of these potential pedophiles. Like, my child likes this, this, and this. And again, it's controversial perspectives. I don't feel like children should be having conversations about sexual fuckinality. That is my perspective. I feel like it is nasty and it's mentally kind of twisted. We're celebrating a child talking about their sexuality. This child's not even 18 years old.
Till I ain't 15.
Not even 15.
Let me
But child pornography is illegal. So why are we even talking about it? Openly.
Real quick, you got to put a disclaimer. We're not saying that every person that's gay is a pedophile.
We're not saying that.
What we're saying is do not let the opportunity of that come up. Like, so putting them in a parade on a float
Right.
is basically for those that are.
Because imagine that kid who's 10, whose parents have never exposed them to any type of sexual contact or anything like that. Kid doesn't even know about sex, right? And then this kid sees someone that he sees, okay, that's a boy, but is it a girl? Mom, what is that? I'm confused. Why are we broadcasting the fact that a child who is not even old enough to have sex in the first place as I prefer penis even though I've never had one?
Think about this. If you don't feel comfortable talking about heterosexual sex with an 8-year-old, you should not feel comfortable about talking about gay sex with an 8-year-old.
Oh, I wish we had the board. I gotta order that board. That was the bomb. That was hit the button. That was a bomb.
So you have to. We have to
order the board today.
You
dropped the bomb.
You have to look at that thing. Just because media's promote some things, you got to look at it in your own lifestyle. If you don't feel comfortable talking about heterosexual child
My dude, that's heavy. That is so fucking heavy. Think about that. Would you feel comfortable walking up to your 8-year-old son and talking to him about fucking some pussy? Hey son, do you like pussy or you like? Yeah. Would you feel comfortable with that? I wouldn't. If
you don't feel comfortable with that, then put it on the other side.
Think about it. If my son, if I had one, came up to me and said, "Dad, I think I like girls." Am I gonna go pray? My son likes girls.
I know, right? So
hey, everybody, my son likes girls. Oprah gonna call my son. Hey, you like girls?
So
you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna blow it off. Oh yeah, whatever.
And getting back to what I said, nothing.
It's
you don't do nothing as a parent. You just continue to be a parent. That's all you continue to do. You don't parade your child around. You don't put your child on commercials. You don't put your child on the float. You just be a parent and continue to be the parent that you want to be.
Now, I will say that, I feel like the homosexual community, LGBT community does need support in the sense that a lot of them are targeted and treated unfairly. What the hell are you doing? Stupid. I do feel like our counterparts, our homosexual counterparts, anyone in the LGBT community, I feel like they do need to be protected in some instances because I have, seen a lot of times they are treated a certain way. They are addressed and talked to a certain kind of way. So I feel like we should always respect people's individuality. We should respect, people's individualism, right? But at the same token, I feel like sex is always something that's private to me. Like it's always been that way. Like even if I see something as far as heterosexuals that are being overly sexual, I'm like, is that appropriate? You know what I'm saying? So I always feel like sex is a very private thing between you and your partner, which is why on one episode we talked about Quavo and his lady, like his lady going on a talk show talking about threesomes openly, like with two dudes. But that's still considered a heterosexual encounter. But it's still something that's private. I feel like there's certain things that are private and you shouldn't be broadcasting. But again, it's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I'm saying is I feel like sex is private. I don't need to be in your business. If you like men, that's fine. I don't care. It doesn't affect me, right? I'm still going to respect you as a person and I will never treat you differently. So, but I'm just saying in my stance in this situation is that is a child. It is a baby. That is a baby. And to me, when I hear people celebrating and talking about a baby's sexuality, who I hope in my heart has never even experienced sex with another man. I would hope he hasn't. But at the end of the day, like nobody is looking from that controversial perspective to be like, bro, should we really be talking about your child's sexuality that's not even an adult? And why is this a thing?
Yeah.
Why don't you support your child as a child and leave that private in your home? But see, me saying that would be more of a negative than what he's doing.
Yeah. And so here's a funny thing. Me being a basketball coach, right? And I'm not going to put his name out there, but one of my players, I had to tell them to stop doing the cool thing. And the cool thing is not messing with, but doing explicit things when it comes to girls his age. That's the cool thing. Dude, you're fucking your life up. Like, you got two things to do at your age right now. Play basketball and go to school. Anything outside of that, you don't even need to be really doing, because anything outside of that can actually fuck your career up. So that's one thing we also got to do. Like, when it comes to our children, we have to protect them from being sexual real fast.
Exactly.
We have to protect them from doing that.
Shield them from being sexual, dude. Like that's not even something that should be on your radar. Like you shouldn't even be thinking about sex or anything. Like, and that's the thing though. Like people like, oh, y'all attacking, the child because he's gay. No, I'm talking from a perspective of sexuality in children. Period.
Yes.
Like for example,
that's where it's coming from.
Like I said, if my son came up to me at 8 years old and he mentioned, I want to, dude, why are you talking about having sex, dude? Like.
Go grab a Hot Wheel.
Exactly. You playing with Hot Wheels.
Get out of my face, y'all.
I don't even talk about sex in the first place. Anything even related to it. Like,
it's just, like,
I'm gonna look at myself. Like I'm gonna look at his daycare. Like what the fuck is going on in his goddamn daycare?
Yeah.
Like what's going on in my child's environment?
What's in y'all curriculum?
Exactly. Like what are y'all teaching my kids?
Yeah.
Which is why even in elementary school they make parents sign a disclosure. Well, the paperwork that allows them to talk to their kids about sex.
No.
What? No. Say like when I was a kid in elementary school. You had to get a printout from your parents where they had to sign off to allow them to teach your kids about sexual education. We were talking about sexual education in fucking elementary school. How crazy is that, bro?
No, we don't know.
We're talking about sex and STDs in fucking elementary.
I don't get that.
Right.
That should. And
like why are we even having that conversation in elementary school? But whatever. So. Yeah. At the end of the day, man, let us know what your thoughts are. Do you agree with us, disagree with us? What are your perspectives? This is a very sensitive subject for a lot of people.
Yeah.
There are so many people out that are, a part of the LGBT community. I know a lot of those people are very vocal, and they have their own perspectives. Of course, I have my perspectives, being heterosexual. But at the end of the day, I feel like this is a great topic in a conversation for us to bridge the gap with our differences and just to talk about it, because I feel like there are going to be certain perspectives that people from that community have that I probably wouldn't have deep insight on, because I have no experience with feeling those emotions and feeling that type of attraction. I have no connection, to compare those two. So it's worth, in my opinion, it's worth having the dialogue. You know what I'm saying? But again, my perspectives are, it's just not appropriate for a child, in my opinion. I feel like as a parent, you should love your child, shouldn't judge them, embrace them. But I feel like give the child an opportunity to develop on their own and just to really make sure that that's what they want. And if that's what they want later in life, I'm just going to shower you with more fucking love and affection. You know what I mean? I'm never going to judge my child, treat my child different. You have anything before we go out?
I'm not going to say I'll shower my child with more. My child is always going to have my love regardless.
I say, yeah, I feel you. I say more because I know that when my child, I only say more because I know from the perspective of what I'm saying, the narrative of me saying, just wait and see. This is from the narrative of wait and see. This is from the direction of wait and see. So when my child chooses to say, I'm going to go ahead and come out, I already know that I have to shower my child with more love and affection, because I know the world that they're facing does not feel the same way that I do.
Okay, I guess, I guess my thing would be check on my child more.
Just check. I'm with you. But for me, coming up from my upbringing, I feel like a lot of things that I didn't have coming up was a lot of that affection piece. You know what I'm saying? So
okay, I'm very affectionate. I'm very, very affectionate.
Exactly. So me coming up without having that affection piece. So that's why I'm so affectionate with my daughter. Like I'm so huggy, kissy, like, and sometimes she's like, oh, dad. But I've been like that ever since she was a baby. You know what I'm saying? Because I never had that. Okay. So my thing is, growing up, if my child was like, hey, this is the path that I want to take, I'm going to shower my child with more affection, because I know day by day for my child can be a little bit more challenging than it is for someone that is seen as being normal because you're heterosexual. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So well, and from my parental side, that like I'm not gonna say my love ever changed,
right,
for my child, and I'm very, very affectionate, because like you, I didn't have that affection when I was younger. So be it both of my children, I'm very affectionate, and you can't, like, maybe because of the gender,
right,
you can see the difference on how I treat them as far as gender based, but as far as sexuality, I really don't give a shit. You're still my child.
Right. So
I love you from the day that you came out to whatever age you are now.
Got some tissue in here.
My children are my children, man. That's what it is.
But you know what? But that's the episode for today. Controversy Lab. Yeah. I appreciate y'all for tuning in with us.
Controversy is key.
Rocking with us. I'm LaKel House.
And I'm RTJ.
So if you guys want to feel free at the comment section, let us know. We're open to having the conversation about this topic. I feel like it's something we all should expound upon, because I feel like this is something that's going to be a part of our our world, on this planet. Like,
It's always been part of our world.
you know,
It's just not prevalent.
It's just
now.
we make it so taboo, and it's like nobody wants to have the conversation. And I think that once we have the conversation about it, we learn how to respect and accept each other. I feel like it bridges the gap between a lot of disconnect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's what we have today. Controversy Lab. Where controversy is key. I reach out to the man. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Follow us on all platforms.
And Controversy Lab.
Controversy's out.